All right, let's just jump right in. We are talking about one of the boldest, most unforgettable, and just plain vicious neo-noir films to come out of the 90s. We're talking about The Last Seduction.
And that line right there, I mean, the way she delivers it with this casual, almost bored confidence. That's our main character, Bridget Gregory. And that's the perfect way to kick things off. 'Cause, it's not an apology, not even close. It's a mission statement.
And that really is the heart of this whole thing, isn't it? The big, thrilling question the movie asks. I mean, think about it. We're so used to stories where the bad guy gets what's coming to them, right? Where good wins in the end. Well, The Last Seduction, it just takes that rule book, throws it out the window, and then, for good measure, sets it on fire.
So let's get properly introduced to the woman at the center of this whole storm.
So here she is, Bridget Gregory. And this performance by Linda Fiorentino, I mean, it's career-defining. She's the absolute engine of this 1994 film. You see that phrase, unrepentant evil? That just nails it. It gets right to the core of who she is. She's not just some character in a movie. She's an absolute icon of pure, cold, calculated ambition. The setup is actually beautifully simple. So you've got her husband, Clay. He's a doctor, but he's in deep, like way over his head with loan sharks. He pulls off this dirty deal and scores big. We're talking 700 grand. Then they get into this huge fight, and he makes the fatal mistake of slapping her. But here's the thing. Bridget doesn't get mad. She gets everything. She snatches the cash, disappears from New York City, and just kind of lands in this sleepy, totally unsuspecting town called Beston.
Now, it's really important to get this straight. You can't mistake her for a victim who's looking for revenge. That slap from Clay, that's not her motivation. No, it's her excuse. It's the green light she was waiting for. What really drives her is something way, way colder. It's about power, it's about money, and honestly, it's about the sheer sport of it all. She loves the game. So, how does a predator like this even operate in a brand new place? Let's break down her playbook.
Okay, so picture this. She walks into a local bar, and like a shark sensing blood in the water, she immediately spots her perfect target. His name is Mike Swall, and he's just this good-hearted guy, totally bored with his small-town life, dreaming of something, anything, bigger. But to Bridget, he's not a person. He's a tool, a pawn, the perfect, naive dupe for whatever she's got planned next.
And her approach, man, it is a masterclass in manipulation. It's this systematic, step-by-step dismantling of a person's will. First, she hones in on that small-town boredom, using it against him. Then, she establishes total dominance, both with her words and sexually. After that, she'll pretend to be vulnerable, right? Just to hook him in, make him feel special. And then, the final step is always the same. Set him up to take the fall. And if you want to understand Bridget in a nutshell, this one line says it all. Mike, poor Mike, asks her where he fits into her life, and that's her answer. I mean, wow, it is brutal. It's completely transactional. It's utterly dismissive. It just lays it all bare for him and for us. In Bridget's world, people aren't partners. They're functions. And his function? Oh, it's temporary, and it's entirely up to her. This kind of ruthless approach didn't just make her a great villain. It actually made her an evolution, a whole new version of a classic film archetype.
So think about the classic Femme Fatale, right, from old Hollywood noir films. A lot of the time, she was kind of a tragic figure. Yeah, she used her wits and her charms to survive in a man's world, but what happened at the end? She almost always met a pretty grim fate. But Bridget Gregory? Oh, she is something else entirely. She's not just trying to survive, she is thriving. She uses seduction not because she has to, but as her weapon of choice. For power, for control, for pure entertainment. And here's the most radical part of all. She wins. Like, completely and totally wins. Of course, a character like Bridget doesn't just pop up out of nowhere, right? She was very much a product of the 1990s. This was a time when there was this big cultural backlash going on against the progress of feminism. And Bridget, she basically embodies the absolute worst fears of that mindset. Here's a woman who is smart, professionally ambitious, totally in control of her own sexuality, and has zero interest in playing traditional roles. She's a walking, talking nightmare for the old guard.
And that brings us to the performance itself, which honestly is just as legendary as the character. I mean, Linda Fiorentino's performance was nothing short of a tour de force. She was sweeping the Critics' Awards, getting just universal praise. The legendary Roger Ebert himself, he gave the film 4 out of 4 stars, called her work diabolical and brilliant. So we're not just talking about a good performance here. This was widely considered one of the defining, most iconic acting achievements of the entire decade.
Which makes this next part so frustrating. So you've got all this critical buzz, right? Everyone's talking about her. And yet, Fiorentino was famously snubbed for an Oscar nomination. And you ask, why? Well, it's because the film actually premiered on HBO before it went to theaters. And back then, that was a huge no-no that violated the Academy's rules. It's become this really controversial bit of Oscar history, a massive what if for one of the most celebrated performances of the 90s. And that whole Oscar thing just adds to the film's legend. A legend that is sealed by one of the most cold-blooded, absolutely diabolical final moves in movie history. So get this. After she tricks Mike into killing her husband, she immediately calls 911. And while she's on the phone with the operator, she starts taunting Mike, pushing his buttons, goading him into attacking her. So to the person on the other end of the line, it sounds like a brutal rape and assault is happening live. She literally weaponizes his anger and fakes her own vulnerability to frame him for everything.
Her victory isn't just a victory. It's absolute. The very last shot of the movie is Bridget sitting in the back of a limo being chauffeured away, and she's just calmly burning the last little piece of evidence that could ever tie her to any of it. So let's do the math. She's got the $700,000 in cash, she's got her dead husband's multi-million-dollar life insurance policy, and she has exactly 0 consequences. She didn't just get away with it, she won the entire game.
So that leaves us with this final kind of uncomfortable question, right? We watch this woman lie, steal, manipulate, and even murder her way to the top. And there's a part of us, maybe a bigger part than we want to admit, that is just thrilled by it. So why? Why are we so captivated by a villain who doesn't just win, but wins so completely? What does our fascination with her, with this unapologetic victory, really say about us? About maybe our own secret desires to just break all the rules and get away with it all?